Well, I played the other two versions of the game, so might as well finish it off and play the third. Welcome to Let's Play Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots for the third time. Interesting to be able to say that, but this is yet another version of the game, and the final version of the game I'll be playing, mostly because there aren't any versions after this. But this is the DS version of Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots. And I've gone through great pains to play this because I'm in a horrible recording setup right now that I have to climb in and out of. So, I hope you're happy. And I have to wear my headphones too, I'm sure hurting my ears. So anyways, I am also very happy with the weird setup I have in the video that allowed me to make each screen bigger. So I hope you think it's pretty because I spent time on that. Anyways, it's like every other Attack of the Toybots version, that being the other two I guess. It actually has somewhat of a lengthy opening sequence. Oh no! Wait a minute. Look over at SpongeBob's house. Why is there a window on the ground? Ah, that's logical. It's been a long time since I played a DS game now that I think about it. But I'm happy that I can actually make this game look a bit better than I made other ones I played in the past. Amazing. Very optimistic. In fact, immediately comparing it to the Krusty Krab. Something on SpongeBob's face here is very, very funny to me, as I realize what Patrick has just done. Ah, dear. I know his expression didn't change, it still amuses me. Bye, Patrick. And they have things on display down here and everything. I'm sure they expect people to be here, just given its appearance. Unbridled enthusiasm. I don't really see toys though. Yeah, 10 may be accurate. There isn't actually a lot to see here. There are a couple big things in the background. Oh, I'm sure. What's yours? What do you even see? There are lots of machines here. No, that's SpongeBob's job. Oh, bye. Oh, they're fuzzy. That's actually very disappointing. I mentioned those to be very fuzzy and lethal simultaneously. And now, suddenly, SpongeBob is out. They're very emotive, which is accurate. One of the most disappointing things in crossover games is seeing inaccurate portrayals of the characters. Oh, hello. You dropped from very high. Also have a very large teleporter. Some really weird things for Jimmy to say. Mood swings much, SpongeBob. So kind of like in Globs of Doom, this is actually an issue that's taking place everywhere, not just in this one portion of Bikini Bottom, but Bikini Bottom is going to be our starting point, because SpongeBob. Oh no, you get used to smell sheet. I see. Where do we go? So I'm realizing I haven't really explained what the gameplay is like in this game just yet. Well, this game is actually a weird mix of 3 different genres, and also you are forced to select SpongeBob here. Ah, crap. I'm gonna have to do something weird I forgot to do just now. Anyways, so who else do we choose? I'm just gonna go with my favorite, Danny. And there's actually another reason I'm gonna go with Danny right now. We'll see a while later. I'll show off every character I can, well, every character I can, which is all but one. But the one I won't show is not really anything unique. Anyways, so this screen somewhat confuses me, not because I'm confused by the controls, but because you have 2 screens here, but there are no differences between them. See how it says 1 out of 2 on the bottom screen, which will be on the right-hand side, I believe. Anyways, yes, you can jump, you can attack, you can use a team power, which will be explained in a minute. You have health pickups. Green ones gives health to both you and your partner. Gold ones only to you. Mech health I'll explain later. Anyways, go to the next screen, and it's sort of the exact same thing, but it says multiplayer on the bottom screen instead of single player. Kind of weird. Anyways. Well, so this is actually a beat 'em up. Not what I was expecting from the game. But there you go. So we have enemies, as you can see. We also have enemies, and we have spawners. These are our little mech health things. The bolts are worth 1, the nuts are worth 20. You'll see what they're used for later. I'll just wait to see what those are actually for before I start explaining them. And you have more kinds of attacks, and this guy's actually let on the controls. And for one, you do have your combos that every character can perform. SpongeBob has exceedingly ranged attacks, for example. But for one, you have a jump attack, which varies by character. SpongeBob gets knocked back a bit, which is actually kind of annoying, and it doesn't tend to land on enemies, which is also annoying. But you also have a charge attack if you hold the attack button, which is of course different with each character. And sometimes you have to use the touch screen, which is why I have to be in this really weird setup so I can actually use my laptop in place of a stylus. There aren't really any uses of the touchscreen in this game I actually enjoy. The only time you ever use a touchscreen in this game is for things like that. You have different things to interact with in each level, and they are never fun. I mean it. But the beat 'em up portion of the game is generally decent, so not much cause for concern. Items will be spawned very quickly in this game, as you can see as they are right now. Yes, I think that was done enough for the moment. Danny is a nice fighter, kind of, although he is actually shockingly somewhat slow. Like, you see how he winds up at that 3rd punch a lot. Leaves him really open. But it's livable for the most part. His charge attack is also incredibly slow to execute though, which is problematic. So I don't think he's a bad character to play as by enemies, but he's not really good either. You also have a special attack once that green bar on the bottom is filled, which isn't actually much of anything interesting. It's just whoever you're controlling says something and then everybody flies across the screen and hurts everybody on screen. Yeah. So you can actually destroy spawners when there are enemies still inside of them, before they've spawned all their enemies. Here, this one's actually spawned all of its enemies already. But if you manage to destroy a spawner before all its enemies have come out, what will actually happen is any enemies that were inside of it will just disappear. You won't have to fight them. That count in the top left corner. Oh, come on, how do I not? The count in the top left corner whenever I'm fighting enemies tells you how many enemies there are left. Okay. And you'll see it goes down sometimes when I fight, when I destroy spawners. Try to go right here, in fact. Usually it's a good idea to try to go behind them. Can I go behind that? Try to go behind the spawners. There you go. That way. And see, that took out a whole 6 enemies. Your health. It's actually a sea sponge up here, I'd say, because you can attack through the water that's falling on you. I guess it would be goo, since you're already underwater. Have fun, Danny. Oh. Your AI friends can take damage, kind of like in Nicktoons Unite, but they don't really do much, so don't usually take much damage, so it's not usually a problem. Oh god, SpongeBob! Oh no! Whoa! How did you get knocked back that far? Oh, it's because it's the reset point for falling to this water here, isn't it? Anyways, you'll usually find that I start off a combo with an attack from the air. It doesn't really matter much if I'm going against a single enemy. I've got 50 enemies in the top left. You know, I expect you to fight all of them. Because you're supposed to destroy the spawners. But oftentimes, jumping as you enter a combo will help make sure you hit everybody you can and stun lock everyone. Just make life a little easier. There can only be 4 enemies on screen at a time. And you can actually exploit that sometimes in certain ways. Namely, if you can stun enemies. Because if you can stun an enemy, they're not going to hurt you. But if enemies are stunned without you killing them, that means no more enemies will appear, so you don't have to deal with any enemies that can actually hurt you. And that's not a very good place for Danny. I don't know why, Danny just has a really hard time with that one spawner there. Probably good for SpongeBob here too, since now they're probably out of water. Thank you. No, thank you. As you can tell, there's actually no use for the top screen during these levels, which is kind of eh, but oh well. So as you can see so far, you basically want to learn what situations each character playing as is and is not good for. And for bosses, just don't get overzealous. Land like 2 or 3 hits on them and then run off, because they won't usually let you pull a finisher on them. Oh, but if they get dazed like that, then do it. If an enemy is dazed, then... Whoa. An enemy is dazed, and that means... Come on. Normally, unless it's a boss, that you can actually just hit it once and you'll do a special attack on it that will destroy it immediately. But if it's a boss, it just means you can attack them and you'll do a lot of damage and get some health from it. And then after you beat the boss on a level, you'll suddenly find a mech that's for some reason just kind of there. Why not? The mechs will each be slightly different, but not in ways that are usually very major, I guess. But this is one of the better mechs, I would say. It has a little bit of range. But it doesn't move when it attacks, which is a huge plus. You'll see why later. Oh! Microphone. That was probably a little bit loud. But this is where, first part where our mech parts come into play. Those little... you can destroy these things before enemies even appear. These little bolts in the bottom right corner are used as a health of sorts for this mech. If I take damage, I lose bolts, basically. And whoever's in the mech also takes damage. It's kind of annoying. But you want to keep as many bolts as you can, because they actually come into play after we get to the rest of the level as well. And no, I can't switch to other characters when I'm in this mech, which is annoying, because it would be nice to be able to switch back to using Danny while I'm inside the mech. If I just want to take care of an enemy quickly, instead of having to shoot it and whatnot, but oh well. Well, it seems like there'll always be one little puzzle thing for you to put up with, so your mech can cross a pit too. I like how you can control yourself when you're not on screen. Alright, and one more time. That should be the last water quote-unquote puzzle in the entire level. Bop. Come on, Danny. I don't quite get what the point was of that, but I guess it was so I had to take the mech with me. You do need to take the mech with you, it's not optional. Part of it is so you can actually fight this thing. Hi, Patrick. There'll always be a mech boss at the end of a level. And you can only damage it with the mech. And also fire lasers. Well, if the lasers hit you, they knock you out of the mech. Kind of annoying, but not too bad. This is a particularly easy mech boss, not just because it's the first one, but also because the mech you're using is good. It has range, and it can't inconvenience you by tiptoeing forwards as it goes. Bye, Patrick. Believe me, that is a serious issue when mechs do that. You'll see why in the next level, actually. But that'll be next episode. Levels in this game are pretty long, but it doesn't have many levels, so... yeah. Fools. Oh, what's the word? There's a little hint to who's behind all this, if you haven't already guessed from the other two games in the series, who the antagonist is. Other part of the factory is pretty vague, but okay. Sure. And in this case, going to the quote-unquote, was that a... There is an oyster swimming in the water in the background there. But anyways, as you can see, going to the quote-unquote other part of the factory entails driving along a long pathway. Kind of weird. Anyways, so this is suddenly a new thing we're doing. So, all the bolts that we collected in the fighting portion are going to transfer over to here. It basically gives us our health for this level. You also see there are 5 portraits to collect. And each of these, they will... they don't really do much of anything unless you collect all of them. You'll see what that is later. But they are each Nicktoons. They're kind of like the master models in the console version. And then finally you have boxes that you don't want to touch. Boxes, sometimes they're barrels. Just don't touch them, they take away your power. Yay. But you can actually go through them without issue if you happen to use your boost. And I should point out now, I'm playing this game with the screens side by side instead of on top of each other. So playing this particular game type is incredibly difficult because I can't look up to see what's in front of me. I have to look to the side, and it is very unnatural. But if you touch a barrel, what happens is you lose control for a moment, which is annoying but not too bad. But you also can't pick anything up while you're out of control either. I'm not gonna pick up every portrait on screen, in case you're wondering, because some of them are just kind of annoyingly hidden and they'd be kind of difficult. But because it's pretty much not next to impossible, but very difficult to do it all in one run through of a level. So I'm just gonna show off whatever portraits I can, and then I'll get the rest of them. Oh crap! I thought I'd be able to get through that with a boost. I'll just do everything else I can off screen. Okay. Well, I think I'm getting all of them in this level at least in one go. Yeah, don't expect much good for me in these levels because they are honestly really difficult the way I'm playing them. The screens are kind of side by side in the video you're watching too, so you have a similar idea, but for me, they're completely side by side instead of one being higher than the other. So it's really awkward to play. But we're not done yet. This isn't the first time you've seen a SpongeBob robot, SpongeBob. You've seen robotic clones of your friends before, and you've taken them down single-handedly. Usually through bubbles. Yes, we indeed. So suddenly, once again we're in the mech, but use the environment to your advantage, whatever. Bottom screen is pretty much useless now, but we're suddenly in a first-person shooter. So that's probably news to you. Not what I was expecting when I got a Nicktoons game, but so if you're wondering about these waterfalls that are annoying, you can't shoot through them, but if the SpongeBot shoots through them, it actually makes 3 projectiles come out instead of just 1. Well, if you shoot down those little valves, what happens is they shut off temporarily, which is nice. There's something to do with the environment in every mech battle, but in this one it's not much special. You also have strong attacks that fire on your right hand side, but they're slow and don't really do much damage at all, so they're pretty much useless. Whereas I don't usually care to shut off the water because, you know, it's convenient to have it off. It takes up too much time to actually try to keep it off. And you don't really get to actually damaging the boss. Come on. Water is so annoying though. You can also move forwards and backwards if you for some reason feel like engaging in 2-dimensional movement instead of just 1-dimensional. Side to side on a line, but there's not really much to be gained from it. I guess you can like move backwards to try to avoid something shot at you, but it's not gonna do a lot of good for the most part. So my strategy pitch all these fights is to do whatever hits I can, but use almost exclusively light shots unless they're stunned. If they're stunned, I'll use a heavy shot and then some light shots. That's not very common. You also find that there's, for some reason, another mech in the background that's also shooting at your at the mech. I don't know why. Because you only ever found one mech in the level. You don't even know who's piloting the other one, but whatever. So I didn't even mention all your bolts from the previous level, well, previous part of the level, that being the racing part. All those bolts transfer over to this part as your health. So it is important to collect as many of those as you can in the fighting portion, so you can have enough health for everything else. Hooray! Celebrate life. Suppose they do. Well, we're sitting pretty at almost exactly 25 minutes too. It is my preferred episode length. So, as you can see, we have a choice now. Many choices as to where to go. So you'll have to decide next episode. Let's play Nicktoons Attack the Toybots for the DS. My final Nicktoons game. Finally. No, not final Nicktoons game, maybe, but final Attack of the Toybots game. See you guys next time when we head on over to Amity Park. And of course, we'll have some fun with that. And we'll have some fun with secret characters too, because that's a thing in this game. See you then, guys.